Within minutes of hearing my symptoms, the doctor handed me 2 pieces of paper, prescriptions, one for a painkiller and one for an antidepressant. And everything in my body stepped back. I was in shock. And all the memories and the heartache of the suicides came back, and my body said, don't take those prescriptions. See, when I was a kid, within a few years of each other, my aunt and my grandfather both committed suicide, ODing on the prescription drugs that they were both addicted to. My aunt was also on diet pills that my grandfather had prescribed to her. And my grandfather was abusing painkillers. Now, my grandfather was also a sugar addict and loved sugar like only a doctor with type 2 diabetes can. But their suicides ruined my family and really devastated my mom. And because of that, I grew up in a home where we rarely took medicine, there wasn't a lot of sugar, and we were slightly suspicious of the omnipotent power of doctors. But even though I was young, I was very clever, and I loved sugar. And I found out that the kids that went to Sunday school at the church down the street got Kool-Aid and cookies. So I started going to church to go to Sunday school at age 7 by myself. I literally went to church to drink the Kool-Aid. Now, I had 12 cavities by the age of 12, and at 14, I got my first job at a bakery. It was the best job on earth. I got to lick the bowls of icing before I washed them. Now, my love affair with sugar continued until the age of 25 when I moved to New York City to go after the career that I thought I was supposed to work in a high-powered law firm. But the heavy work that was dull, the long hours at my desk, the stress, it started to take a toll on my body very quickly. So I tried to enliven myself the best way I could, with vanilla lattes in the morning and chocolate every afternoon and takeout dinner every night. That's all I knew how to do it. But I hit bottom very quickly. I put on 25 pounds within a few months. I was having migraine headaches almost every day. I had acne, I was depressed, and I didn't know what to do. So I did what you're supposed to do. I went to the doctor. And that doctor's first recommendation for me was the prescriptions. But something in me said, don't do that. Don't mask the symptoms. Heal me. So I went to another doctor. He asked me what I was eating. And he put me on a diet plan that was totally devoid of sugar, caffeine, processed foods, 90% of what I was eating. And I was scared. That sounded really hard. But something in me said, do this. This will heal you. So I dove in. And I read everything I could get my hands on. And I discovered kale and quinoa and veganism. And I went to culinary school and I dove into an inquiry of food as medicine. And for the first time in my adult life, at the same time I was studying the culinary arts of healing, I was just now getting into contact with my body and really starting to learn how she operated. And I was starting to learn that there was a difference between a craving that can enliven you and a craving that can derail you. Now, around the same time, I met my soon-to-be husband. And together we created a documentary called Super Size Me. He got very sick. But we went to Oprah. We got nominated for an Oscar. I wrote books about vegan cooking. We had a baby. And it all felt so good. for a while, until it didn't feel good anymore. And my body started telling me I couldn't stay in this partnership anymore. Our marriage wasn't working. And even though my brain and my friends were telling me, stay, try to work it out, my body said, you can't stay in a relationship that you can't trust anymore. So I left, and I started over. And all of a sudden, I was a single mom and a single woman, and I was exhausted. And my health started to deteriorate again. And my menstrual cycle started to shift. It was coming every 14 to 16 days. And I started craving meat. This was bad. This was not okay. I had built an entire career on vegan cooking, being a vegan expert. Why are you doing this to me? I said. So I secretly went to a couple of friends and a couple of experts, and I asked them what I should do, and their recommendations to me were in conflict with what my body was telling me. And I tried everything within the vegan framework to heal my body, but it didn't work. So I decided to listen to those cravings and give myself what my body was asking for. And guess what? It worked. My energy rose, my menstrual cycle went back to normal, and I felt good. And I realized I couldn't care what people might say about me, whether or not they would love me based on what I was eating. I couldn't even listen to what experts were telling me. I had to listen to my own body, and what she was telling me was my truth. See, looking back, I can see that at every pivotal point in my life, my body was telling me my truth at each juncture. And I want to encourage every person here to go into inquiry around your own desires and your cravings, your deepest, juiciest, truest desires, whether it's for more meaningful work, or sex, or more free time, or play. Your desires matter. And if you start to listen to your cravings, that's where the message is. Your body will speak to you first in cravings. And if you listen to her, she won't have to scream at you. And learning to trust and listen to your body is worth your weight in gold.